Hi everyone, so we are live on a Sunday morning, and I just came from how do I say, one of the best mornings that I had. I woke up pretty early, and then I was working on Zenther, fixing a few bugs that my friend Yash and Gokul mentioned, and then I sent a build, and after that I went for a walk because it was a beautiful weather outside. Like the clouds are very cloudy, if that's how to put it. And I went for a 2.5 kilometer walk, and then went to a very nice park in Bangkok. It's called as Lumphini Park, and then it has a 2.5 kilometer track. And day before I did 2.5 kilometer in that park, and today I wanted to do three, so I went for 3 kilometers. And it wasn't a run as such, it was more of a jog. I just wanted to see if I can still jog, or like I wanted to push it to 5 kilometers, but I felt like it's better to do it over a few weeks than just do it once and then not consistently do that. And then I came back for with a walk again, then went for a half an hour strength training, and my shoulders are hurting, but I feel more alive than ever. So that's why I wanted to do this Sunday refactoring stream, because refactoring is not a fun process, and I was in a mood that I would want to use Alex sidebar. This stream is not sponsored, but I still love to use Alex sidebar, and I have been using that for creating this whole app. So it makes sense for to use the app to clear the slop, or the AI slop that Sonnet 4 has generated over the months. So this code base is, I don't know, it's like 1 month and 5 days old, but I have added so many features that it is actually now a full functional macro tracking app. Plus it tracks the sleep, but it only shows you the graph that you would get. I'm still working on what insights I want from the sleep, and it can also track the workouts. It cannot start a workout or end a workout, but it can go through your health data. If there are other apps that are logging the workout, you can see those directly in the app. So to give an example, I will connect my phone to let you know what is the current status of the app. This is the Garmin's official app. I use a Garmin. It's a watch that I love very much. I do miss the Apple Watch, and I wish the Apple Watch Ultra had a much better battery, but this gives me 16 days, so I really do not have to worry about charging it at all. Like I came here on 1st and I charged today, which is on 10th, and I've been using it extensively. And so 10 days of extensive use is something that you cannot imagine in an Apple Watch. I know that Apple Watch has more smart features and blah blah, but still I love my I when I was an Apple Watch user for 2019, 20, 21, I think 5 years, I barely use any of the smart features or the apps that were present on Apple Watch. So it made sense to switch away from it and get used to a better battery life. So you can see that I did around 1100, and if I go and switch to Zenther, where is Zenther? Oops, where is the Zenther app? So I was working a bit on improving a UI as well. So now the workout starts with the strength training. I have to add, so now that I'm on the stream, I will do this very quick, because Vishrut mentioned, he did not mention, he sent me a screenshot, and I noticed that when I have this what is the name, it's in the workout view, and there's a hero section there. So I've been trying to go through my code base as much as I can, so it feels like I have written it even though I haven't. But the idea is that I do understand that a lot of the parts here, so I knew that this was the reason that it was truncating. So that is now fixed, because I have been testing only on iPhone 16 Pro Max, so I haven't been I don't actually know what all am I missing on having that more width on this phone, and the workouts and everything. So most of the things are sorted. But now, one thing that my friend Samir mentioned, who has done a lot in helping me with the UI, is that he mentioned about building app not for the sake of building new features or ideas, but having some idea behind it. And So this is something that I have to fix. So this is adding my total daily expenditure here from the mean app, which I do not want. I still wanted to say that 1700 and not 2800 because it added my workout that I did today, which I do not want. So that's something I have to fix. And the UI is way better now, like all these zoom transitions. And if I go back, you can see on the workouts itself, it's just very nice zoom transition effects. So the app is way more polished than I was working on a few days ago, or even last week. The sleep does not have much. So this is a kind of, especially considering the time constraints. What do you mean time constraints? I guess it means that even when I only took 3 hours, I was able to get a whole 1 hour of or 35% of deep. I wasn't in the REM section at all, which is kind of amusing to me. And so the main part of refactoring is refactoring all the foundation model related stuff, because I don't know how this actually happened, but I have a whole layer of um, complexity or over architecture over the how I'm using the foundation model. So that is something I have to fix, because this great workout today, you are building momentum with consistent training, is hard coded somewhere. Because when I was refactoring the workout view to be in a much more nicer state, it actually got rid of it, sonnet 4, and it just said like I will just add a simple motivation because I do not understand how to work with foundation model. So that was one of the reasons that I have this hard coded, which I do not want. I actually want to use as much as foundation model as I can and get rid of all the extra stuff in this app. So if I have to show you and just ask like how many lines of Swift code is in this code base, include Zenther core, the Zenther target, and the Zenther widgets. So I was astonished when I was looking at the number of lines of code. I know that's not a measure to go by. If you have been on Twitter, you would know there's a meme around with somebody writing 10,000 lines of code every day, and we all know that's something that you shouldn't measure the actual productivity out of it. Because even though you will see the number of the lines of code in this project, when I saw it over, when I was working on it, it got so much bigger in such a short period of time that I wasn't able to handle it, because it was way difficult in the beginning, and now I'm much more accumulated to it. But I still feel that there's a lot of things that I can cut off in the main app itself. So you can see that it says that your code base has 60,700 lines of Swift code across 334 Swift files. Zenther core has 33 files. Zenther itself has 260 files with 47 or 48,000 lines. Zenther widgets has 33 files with 6,800, and there's others of 8 files. There's total of 334 files, and the main target contains, which is the primary target, and there's a substantial amount of widget code functionality, and Zenther core has the shared common target. So I know that a lot of this should be redundant, and that affects when I'm building new functionalities, because when I'm building a new functionality I would want to keep the UI consistent, because now the app is in a state which is much more consistent versus how it was before. So just give me 1 second, I need to check if there's any comments or anything that I have. Okay, amazing. So let's start with the refactoring itself. I actually do not know where to start from, so we will just ask AI, because in the end I have AI to blame for all this mess. So that's a substantial amount of code. Do you think there are some redundancy? One of the redundancies I know is how I'm using the buttons, because I would want to have the buttons with the glass prominent effect as well as the normal bordered prominent when I'm using iOS 18, and I'm using that kind of style everywhere, which is kind of copy pasting across all the files, and there are many primary buttons. For the views, I was able to refactor it and get rid of thousands of lines of code by having this glass card modifier. The idea of this modifier is that for iOS 26 it does a glass effect of dot clear interactive in for a particular rectangle corner size, and for the iOS 18 it would use a rounded rectangle uh, with the old background with shadows and overlays, so it feels like it is similar to the glass effect without the motion blur, the motion when you move the phone around. So if I have to show you how the glass effect looks like, so it sees that, okay, let's go through one by one. So HealthKit service is split across 12 separate files with extensions. Similar data fetching patterns are repeated across the extensions, and there are multiple mock implementation and protocols. I do want the mock implementation because it is easier to work with the UI. One of the reasons that I was able to create a pretty UI, it's not I am bragging about the app, it's just everybody has said that the app is pretty. So I have earned the uh, I have earned the way to call humble brag about it. So this is one of the reasons, because I've been heavily dependent on SwiftUI previews, and that's why I've been using Alex Sidebar, because it's much nicer to use Alex Sidebar versus Cursor when it comes to working with Xcode. And the UI component declaration, there are multiple card implementation. There's a metric card, workout card, hero card. They're very similar section component across the features, and they're repeated button style. See, this is what I was mentioning. There are multiple empty state views, there are repeated chart visualization and similar loading error style. This AI intelligence service, they are centralized AI service. There are multiple context builder with similar patterns. There are duplicate AI integration logic, similar nutrition data models in both Zenther and Zenther Core, overlapping workout fitness data structure, redundant user preference handling. The streak calculation is in multiple places, similar date calendar computation, redundant statistical calculation. So consolidate HealthKit service, merge extension into core service, better organization, it will reduce 2000 lines. Unified widget architecture, 500 lines. Component library will have 500 lines. So it says that you could potentially reduce the code base by up to 25%, which is like 15,000 lines of code through strategic refactoring while improving maintainability. The large files like workout planner view also indicate opportunities for better separation of concern. So that is a very I am like very, this is something that I expected. Like I have done a lot of uh, overlooking a lot of the things to ship faster because I participated in a hackathon, but that's not an excuse if I have to work on this code base long term. And if I can just give one day, not even one day, a few hours on refactoring and start well, this is something that I would love to do, so that I have a much cleaner code base to start working or adding more features to. Because I'm in a state where I do not want to add more features, kind of try to pick up but have the UI more consistent. So let's start with the part on second one, which is the UI component duplication. Please tell me more about it, and still be in research mode and do not write any code. So this is what I was telling you about the class modifier, and I want to have a way to also see the old preview, because the old preview does not have the I was thinking for iOS 18 maybe I can use the ultra thin material display somehow, which will look nicer. But if you can see, I am mostly using an overlay or a fill with clear, so it does not even make sense, to be honest, to have this fill. So the fill, if I can go back and just create a preview out of this and play around with it. So preview and old background, Okay, the radius is 16. Old background. Okay, and I would need some text as well, so I would have this text and do a background. Okay, and add some padding just to be on the happier side. Okay, so this is how it looks, and if I go back to the glass effect, you see that this is how it looks, which has a more, I don't know, glass effect, but it is more translucent because this is literally color dot zero. So I can do, what is it called, ultra thin material here. Yeah, so this feels more glass like appearance, but one thing I want to see is how it would look when I try to scroll it. So I would try to create a more fake UI and add a scroll view here, and in the scroll view I would also want to have a background. So this background, if I have this background, I would put a V stack on top of this, and on the V stack I would put a background of top gradient view. Okay, I think the top gradient view requires me to have the theme manager. Yeah. Oh, it actually looks really nice. Now I would want to have it go max width, so it's much nicer to play with. Damn. Are you seeing how cool this looks like? And I wish there was a way to have an opacity on this. Can I do an opacity on the glass itself? Oh wow, this looks ridiculously cool. And what if I do this? Amazing. I'm loving this so much. uh, and let's see if I can have it on the card itself to see how it looks like. Perfect. So what I would want to do is take this background effect. So what we did was add this and here we will do this instead. Perfect. This is the old background view. So because I have used the dot class card everywhere, I can, just one change makes the whole app use this new really pretty looking card. And just to be on the safer side, I don't, let's see if I can open it on a 16 Pro Max. I think 16 Pro is what I'm using for 18.5. I would still want to see how it looks like in actual displays, so I can understand how it would look on an iOS 18.5 device. But I'm so happy how it turned out to be, because I wasn't expecting it to be so nice with the dot. I actually did not know that you can also have an opacity. I never thought of it until I was doing the stream of doing an opacity on the ultra thin material itself. Otherwise I would always use ultra thin material directly. And while it is loading, let's see if there's any comments. I would want to say, put out Franklin, yes, true, the app is pretty. I have worked a lot on the prettiness of the app. One of the reasons was because even though I won last year on the Build in Public award, I was actually aiming for the design award for my app meshing. So that is one, I don't know, something that I could not get, and I wanted to get that. So when I started working on this app, I started with that motivation to aim for the design award as well. So and one other thing was, if you know, there's this app called as Box. It is a F1 widgets app, and this is, I was talking to Kamal, who is the engineer and the founder of the app, and he told me about the design forward thinking of the app and how they work on it. And that was a very enlightening experience talking to him. So that's I after that I went back and I studied his the whole app to understand how they do the whole design forward thinking by understanding the widgets, the whole app, and that was one of the inspirations when I started working on Zenther. So let's see, for some reason the app is giving me a white screen. I still see a lot of, I think, is this the error that somebody mentioned on Twitter, that they're getting a white screen? If I try to run it in dark mode, will that change? Where was the dark mode? I think you have to go to settings. Where is the settings? Scroll down, developer, dark appearance. So it is actually just a black screen on iPhone 18.5. Okay, so that is concerning. Which means I have to stop doing it on iOS 26 for now, and then focus on doing it on iOS or Xcode 16, so that I can fix this error as well, because I had planned to ship a new version tonight after adding the paywall, and if this is the problem, I cannot ship it on the App Store. In the meanwhile, I will see what we got from Sonnet 4. So it did a deep dive analysis, and it says that the class system has major redundancies. Why is it a redundancy, friend? The official modifier supports iOS 26 fallback and used in 60 plus files across. So what's the problem? It says that there are redundant card components. The workout history card, inside card, partner inside card, shareable workout card, record card, hero summary card, and metric card. These use different card components. Their button fragmentation. This is something I agree, and I have to fix as a uh, what do you say, as a priority. And background system overlap, voice class background, feature specific, mostly just preview code, and there are a lot of layer patterns duplicated everywhere where you have an icon and then a value plus label. There are color generation scattered around. There are file that's 8 different card components, 12 components using the class styling. So there are 1500 lines of repeated blah blah blah. Unified could eliminate single Zenther card components with variants. I feel like I am not a fan of doing dry just for the sake of doing the do not repeat yourself thing, because I feel having all these variants sometimes limits me in a way that I would have to kind of take it away when I have to create more. Otherwise, it's just creating different cases on uh, creating for different cases. So, so reusable configurations. Okay. So why this happened? Okay, each team, yes, each team built their own card variation. No design system. Dot class became a catch-all solution. Copy paste development, similar pattern replicated across features. Missing component structure. There's no component library. This represents a classic where a successful design pattern class cards was adopted organically but never properly systemized, leading to sprawling duplication across. Okay, the class system could be responsible for. Okay, 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 okay. Enough of the blaming on me. I am the was the whole team who did it. Let's start very small. Where do you think? I think this is in Zenther core for the Vue plus Cloud extension. So I would want to move a lot of the components into Zenther core and not especially the UI related stuff, so that I can also reuse across the upcoming watch app. I have planned to work on creating a watch app maybe in one day, and having this refactor is really going to help me. Okay, fair enough. You built something impressive, even if it got a bit redundant along the way. Let's start with something. Okay. Okay. Let's. Okay, Zenther core extension. So where is this? I would do it myself, so I have a better idea. This is the extension. Okay, this is completely empty. Nice. And instead you can use the button style from Zenther core. Voice class background. Where is this voice class background? Oh, okay, it's not being used anywhere. Where is this? It's in features, macro, components, this one. Okay, these two are done. Nice. What I want is that wherever I am using this dot class prominent a button style with iOS 26, I would want to note that, because that's a critical refactoring. If I have to show you somewhere, so let's see, dot class prominent, and I have heard that the class prominent effect on buttons now isn't working in beta 5, like dot button glass dot class versus gloss prominent is the same, which is funny, uh, coming from in beta 5. It's already August, they're planning to release it next week. AGI blaming the blame game. This is not AGI, especially after GPT-5 release. I have realized that this whole super intelligence stuff is a bit far away than the hype boys on Twitter have said it. I found the critical iOS 26 refactoring location, so these are used in these places, and there's also a class effect in capsule used in places, and there's also the dot class button style used. So the dot class button style is something I've used for the nutrition view. So you have the camera and you have the button, so it gives you that very nice class look. And there's a mixed usage of using my own custom button. So these are the highly visible UI elements. Okay, the good news, most have proper fallback. So like this one, I would want to create a button modifier out of it, or a view that I can directly use. I'm not sure if you can have a button modifier, or maybe I can have I actually do not want a button modifier, because when I create a button modifier and add a button style on top of it, it wasn't working well. Like if I create a button and then add a button style on my custom button style on top of it, so I just want to have this code. So create a view that will take the text, system image, and the action, and keep the default radius of 16, and let's see how it am I using in other places like ready to train view. Mm, this is used elsewhere. Also take conditions for disabled and opacity with default values as well. Think that would make it much more nicer, and then I would just play it into the SwiftUI previews, and when I'm happy with it, and then update it accordingly. And one thing I've noticed is that this health authorization view is something I do not use anymore. Progress tracking view, am I using this? Actually I am using this. Nice. I think this is used somewhere, because there are a lot of buttons where they are scattered around and I want a good. So it has created a class button view, and there are no haptics manager in place. So haptics manager is a class that is here, so I would want to move it in the Zenther core as well. So it is in Zenther core and utils. So this goes, I'll just put it in helpers and remove it from here. And let's build this. Oh my god, what is this, man? Slap and main actor everywhere. I'm really not in the mood for this. Constants, cannot find this constants. Am I using this constants? This should also be a part of Zenther core, and I delete it from here. So value of fallback has no member is pressed. So it did create which I didn't want it to do. I asked you not to create a button style custom, just use how I gave you. The user is right, I overcomplicated this, and it will start with you're absolutely right. You're right. Okay, I wasn't absolutely right this time. So perfect, it got rid of a lot of the stuff and it kept it the way that I wanted. Very nice. So now I can easily play with a lot of the stuff, and also this button content, this is duplicated. Please create an internal view and add it for both the else and hashtag else. This is one of the thing I don't like when working on especially new features, because I have to support both the compiler and this else, and it will be fixed in a month when there's a new Xcode RC, and then I can just use, and I can get rid of Xcode 16.4. So we have the fallback content. Okay, perfect. Now I would want to review this button, so I'm happy with it and I can directly use it everywhere, so the whole app has that consistency and I'm not have that scattered thing everywhere. Okay, I think I found the problem. It should be a public class, which means all these should be public. I'm I didn't want to ask AI for that because I knew I would end up with 67 errors. We have 46 errors. Okay, what is the shared value itself? How can I forget? Oof. I think that should fix it. Let's see, do we have any comments? There are some. This is one thing I always have to remember, to make it public. Even this is a lot of code that shouldn't be there. Even this init shouldn't be there. All the deep link, this can be improved way better. So I have to actually go file by file and fix, and it would actually take, I was overestimating myself, it would actually take me a day, not a few hours. But I'm okay this way. I'm actually learning much more about my code base and fixing a lot of small things here and there that I would not have done it myself. Mm. Why is it going? Well, yes, really lazy here. Really want to go back to the class button and fix it here. I think that should do it. That should hopefully be the last change I have to make. We haven't done anything that would affect the UI as such as of now, so I do not have to run it on device. Okay, still have a few problems. And that should finally solve everything. Perfect. So the project loads and we go back to the class button so we can use it everywhere. I think this would require me, oh, it had already added the theme manager. This was a nice touch that I was missing last night when I was doing the stream. Let's see. Okay, so when I use the class button, I see that it has this red tint. I think the red tint comes from somewhere, forgot where, but it comes from somewhere. And for some reason, one thing I don't like about this button is that I cannot control when I use the control size. Now what if I don't use this? Okay, what if I just use dot class? Okay, that actually works. I need to understand why it is giving me a rounded effect and not a capsule button. Why is it a capsule button and not a rounded rectangle? Okay, so it gives you the system default capsule. For consistency, you should use it. How to change the system default capsule with bordered prominent to rounded rectangle? I don't think there's a method directly on this. Nope. Is it bordered? Nope. Okay, there's a button border shape. I think it is. What are the options? Okay, rounded rect and radius. Oh nice, this looks nice. And then I add the class prominent. Perfect. So this is something I was missing in yesterday's stream, so I learned a new modifier. Maybe I had known about this, just kind of forgotten. And then we are using a clip shape here, so I can use the button border shape here as well. So let me just try to have this. How do I test the I am running iOS 26? There's this class button. Okay, this is with the custom modifier. I have to give that. Temporarily change the. Okay, let's do this. Let's try this fallback effect. Okay, this is how the fallback effect looks like. And why is this not taking? Okay, we have a background color and it should take the theme color here. The background should be this, and I need to provide it with the theme as well. And here you create the previewable var theme equal to theme manager, and then use the theme environment here. Perfect. So this is the normal button and this is the iOS 26 button, and I see that it is using the theme as well, so I'm kind of happy with how both the buttons look like. Okay, amazing. I will commit this because we made a lot of changes. Let's start by using this button in the places that we were using class prominent with conditions. So I will let Alex do its thing. Line 50. So it was able to remove a lot of lines of code for me, and if I go back to the health authorization view, now we are using the class button directly, and it's has a nice name to it, class button, and the share buttons also use it. Want me to continue the next slides, please? And I just want to see how it looks like. Okay, perfect. So this is what I actually wanted, and it looks like how it should be. I know that it is giving me this red kind of effect, but in reality it does not have that. It's just something I don't know in simulator or the preview, otherwise it does not give me that in real life. Okay, let's see how it is on the ready to train view. Okay, the start training button works, and Yash mentioned about, gave me a feedback on the notification view as well. Timely nudges. Yeah. It should also use the glass button. So I think he is on iOS 20. He's on iOS 18.5 because I see his view has the different effect, and it should look much nicer on this new build. So we were able to reduct 100 lines of code, but the point is that I was able to have that consistency across. Amazing. I feel there are more buttons out there that are primary action buttons that should be using the class button. Can you please search for me? I think just wait for it to do this, because there are some border prominent views that I know should be replaced as well. Hey Adam, when we will get another chapter in your book? Which book are you talking about, Adam? Because a lot has the AI assisted one. Okay, these buttons are the primary actions. Yeah, the awesome milestone button, begin button in the quick start view, streak view, workouts enable. Yeah, all of these should, yeah, all of these should use the new pattern. I am working on the chapters for Xcode AI right now. Is that something you are looking forward to or about cursor. So I also get rid of the button style, the tint, because my glass button directly has the tint. Perfect. Amazing. Replaced all the buttons. 660 lines of repetitive code has been removed. Consistent design. Okay, perfect. So I will do a commit. So just to what is the word, deframe, or so I just wanted to mention about the new chat gpt integration xcode ai, and I'm not sure if they are using, because they mentioned that they moved away from gpt 4.0 from main app, like they got rid of all the legacy models and replaced the main app with chat gpt 5, and they got a lot of backlash for it, and they had to bring it back for the weekend. And I'm not sure because if they are using GPT-4 GPT-5 for the Xcode AI, because that would be pretty awesome. Because when I was at WWDC, I got a chance to talk with one of the engineers who worked on Xcode AI, and I had a few specific questions. And the one of the first one was like, "Do you know about Alex Sidebar?" And they were like, "Ah, we pretty much know about Alex Sidebar." And I was like, "Yeah, I worked for them." So he was like, "Pretty cool. So what's your question?" So one of the questions I had was, how which model is powering ChatGPT, and they were very proud to say out loud GPT 4.0. And if you have worked in the Xcode or iOS development, you know that GPT 4.0 is not the state of the art model for working with iOS development code. So I was very uh, surprised, but then because they were giving it for free, so it made sense as well. And the second question that I have is, can I now in the free version use ChatGPT 5? Hi there. Looking at the speed of the response that we get, we can kind of get an idea, because this is still very fast. So I don't think that they are using GPT-5 here. What do you think about this view? And it's very hideous how they have these two buttons that do not make sense as such. And you have to wait a very long while to understand what they actually mean. I think one of them mentions if you want the file to be in the focus or in the as the context or not, but I don't know which one. So you have to wait for it or something. It's very difficult. Like I still feel that they rushed this implementation of this sidebar, and we already are on beta 5 and we haven't expected much changes here. You can add content from here, and it's I don't know what is this box or a sync badge clock, what are these files, because I'm 100% sure these are not my files. Or what is this device? I think these are from revenue cat, uh, especially all these. What is this http request? Where is this coming from? I have no idea. So, and why am I, when I do the add, why am I getting magic weather swiftware entitlements? So it's beta 5 and this whole feature still feels a lot broken. uh, there's no more command here. I can do street view. Okay, that's my file. App delegate. You can also focus on the errors like capture of main actor. But now, okay, it worked. Let's see. Let's try this. If I do this, what will happen? Just as a case of, those come from the extra docs in the library folder. Is it the new one uh, that they like somebody mentioned on Twitter? So here's what this and how you can address it. Okay. You cannot make the init async, because if I do that, I will have to update a lot of the code everywhere. Yeah, the MD files, I think I saw Thomas use it, and it's funny that they would still have it so much somewhere else, and they just don't want the developer to access it directly. So anyway, coming back to the stream, I got distracted. So as I mentioned, I still feel that it is something they should really work on for the next month if they actually plan to release it, because in this situation, or in 2025, this does not make sense. It does not have any agentic like it, not agentic is a very strong word to use for what we have. Even just give me access to web, that would be much nicer. But anyway, enough of the ranting part. Let's go back to my app. Can you please uh, search for more buttons? So I would finish this part because I have to go, and I still plan to do some streaming, but I have to I plan to stream from outside, and based on how the environment is there, if it is good enough, I would continue the stream. Otherwise, I would do it manually and put a update on Twitter for everyone to try it out. And for Adam, I really want to work on the book. It's been a while. There has been so many changes. The book is really outdated, and it feels very bad that people who are still buying it, they get the outdated cursor from maybe January, February, and it's August now. I started work. I shipped the book in October last year, so it's going to be a year. So there are so many updates coming. I have to update it for cursor 1.4.1. I forgot that's the latest one, and then windsurf as well. Windsurf is kind of, I don't know, I don't want to spend time on that. And we have VS Code update, we have Cloud Code update. There's so many changes in the latest one, especially the sub agents, where it has its own context, which is pretty cool. And you can also have it run in the background as well. And the new cursor agent in the latest one. So there's so many updates I have to do. Oh man. So I will try to have spend some time today, and I would want to have the Xcode AI ready, because even though it's not in a good shape, a lot of the users or the developers who are going to start with their AI journey will start with Xcode AI, because it's readily available, it's free. And for if your company has a strict AI policy, this is something that they can uh, easily convince their upper management to work with. So let's start with Xcode AI today. I also have to update the chapters on foundation model for the AI book, and that's why I really wanted to do the uh, uh, refactoring, so I can take some examples that I'm using in this app as examples on how I'm using it in the widgets and the notifications, uh, like outside of the app itself from app intent. So it provides such a really nice integration. So one of the things that I have been loving about my app is how in the morning itself it would give me, you crushed it with your strength training session, keep pushing forward and stay strong. So if I have to compare to some other apps, they would just say, okay, we just logged your 30 minutes traditional strength training, nice job, that's it. So I'm trying to make it more personalized using the foundation model, and I would want to add those examples directly into my book as well. So let's see, we have healthy night view as well, and contextual subscribe button also has this, the metabolic continue button. Okay, amazing. So with this, I will commit this, and I do not plan to send a build right now because this refactor will take the whole day. I will send a build right at the end, where I redo the paywall as well, something I said in the last video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed the stream. It's almost an hour of me yapping around, and thank you so much and have a good day.